just coming close towards Heroes Acre. See it in the distance right there, that tall monument. Just going to turn off into here.
Out in here?
Yes, yeah. So here I am. This is Heroes Acre, or as I would call it, Heroes Arch. Yes, this is where all the Namibian freedom fighters and like ministers, prime ministers, and presidents are buried. So up there, that's a statue of Sam Nkrumah, and there's a panorama view up there. This was all helped built by the lovely people from the DPR Korea, or North Korea. So we're gonna go have a look around, and as a matter of fact, there is a restaurant nearby. So we have a eternal flame right here, and what we see right here is similar to like an Iron Cross of Germany. I think this is to commemorate those Namibians who gave their life to Germany in World War I, I believe. Or that could be just to remember what the Germans did to them in the colonial times. These reef things over here, I don't seem to understand what they like resemble and all, but they're pretty interesting. Now we're gonna go up the staircase. Okay. Okay. This one. This fly is bothering me right now. I'm so glad I got new batteries yesterday. I got new batteries yesterday, yes. So, these are future burial plots for ministers. I don't think anyone's buried here, but that's just reserved for anybody who has worked for the Namibian government and is a hero of the country to be buried here. There is a famous white Namibian who was murdered by the South African regime, and he is buried here as well. He has a Polish sounding surname. And so how I first discovered about the Namibian people and the struggle for independence was there was a movie called Namibia Struggle for Independence. It was starring Danny Glover, and he played a Namibian priest. And the storyline goes on about Sam Nkrumah, how his early childhood, working at a shop for 10 shillings a month, and then having to go into exile because he deposes the South Africans. And then there's a side story about how this little baby, he's found in the desert after his parents have been murdered by the South African regime. And so this young baby grows up to be a man, grows up to be a freedom fighter, and him and his best friend, they take retaliation against the South Africans in the South African border war. You see, this is what I've always been wanting to come to. I always go to war memorials in all countries of the world, but this one is really spectacular. So we've got, let's see, we don't have anybody buried over here, but I can see some tombstones up here. So there's more burials up around here. This is who I was talking about, yes. Late comrade Anton Theodore August Lubowski. We are proud of you, your parents, wife, siblings and children, man of people, friends, father and passionate advocate for Namibian freedom and human rights. You see, he was a white Namibian, and he called Namibia his home. No matter, even if he was of European descent, he was Namibian. And late Honourable Moses Magugu, who died 1997. I have devoted all my life to liberation of my country of Namibia. I have completed the grace with no regrets. Psalms 24. So I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I feel no evil, for you are with me. Rest in peace. Late Honourable Peter H. Mugweshari. So he died 8 years. He was a leader of the Liberation Force, a member These people, you know, they spent a lot of years fighting against the racist regime of South Africa for their own independence, and they belong to be buried up here. Now we've got some more people who are buried here. Marco Mukoso Axio, so he died recently. A few people have been buried here recently, last couple of years. Here we have a man who gave his life in the Namibian struggle for independence, so died 1983. This woman here, Putis, you know, her nickname was Bikulu. She died in 1986, way before the country became free from South Africa. These are more heroes who gave their lives. Their blood waters our freedom. That is so fantastic. I've got more freedom fighters buried here, who have been buried in this location in the last 15 or so years. See. Some generals who are buried here fighting. See, no other country in the world ever recognized South Africa's annexation of Namibia. Like, literally, there were League of Nations basically said, okay, South Africa, you can look after this former German colony for a short while, but you have to give it independence. And the South Africans, well, they refused to oblige, like after the end of World War II. And so the Ethiopians and the Liberians, they filed a complaint to the United Nations, and there wasn't like enough votes. But then it was around the same time as, you know, South Africa was being punished because of apartheid, and they were also punished for not giving Namibia its independence. Was it good? These people right here, their gravestone doesn't really explain much about what they did in their lives, but being buried here, they are a hero of the Namibian people. These people here, I believe that there are the remains of people who were killed in a genocide buried here, and some of those early like chieftains of Namibia were also buried here, I believe. Or I kind of think there are some graves on this actual site that they don't have the actual remains, they just have like a cenotaph. I'm walking up towards the great leader Sam Nujoma. Glory to the fallen. Can't really read that. It's like of the motherland Namibia. I think it's the fallen heroes and heroines of the motherland Namibia. So here's old man Sam. Looks like he's about to throw a grenade. He's got an AK-47. And then we go up around here. This is like a mural, like an iron cast mural of the battles of the Namibians against the South Africans and the Germans. I mean, this part here kind of commemorates like native Namibians and the struggle against the Germans. This part here is basically the Namibians during the South African occupational times. This is about the South African border war that happened in Angola, when basically a lot of SWAPOs and ANC members were hiding in Angola and using it as a base to attack South Africa. And as a matter of fact, South Africa was occupying the southern part of Angola and propping up the non-communist opposition. And here we have beautiful days of freedom as Namibia became independent in March 1990, when I was only 5 years old, and apartheid died that same year, and 4 years later the Rainbow Nation was born in South Africa. But despite past troubles in history, we all need to move on and apologize and forgive each other for what we've all done in the past, you know.